Hello and welcome to SoundByte. I'm Chantell Munoz.
And I'm Elliot Anderson. We do have breaking news this evening. Just over an hour ago, the president of Southern Oregon University, Mary Cullinan, sent out a campus-wide email, which we would now like to read verbatim. She says, "Dear campus, many of you know that I've been named a finalist for the presidency at Youngstown State University. This came about quite suddenly. I was nominated for the position. The search consultant asked if I would be available for interview via Skype this past Saturday. That afternoon, the consultant invited me to visit the campus next week. I look forward to exploring this professional opportunity and learning more about that university and position. However, please know that I care deeply about SOU and am very proud of all this university does for our students. I will keep you apprised as I learn more about the YSU position in the next couple of weeks. Thank you again for all you do for SOU and our students. I'm so proud of all that we're accomplishing." We here at SoundByte will follow up on this story and bring you the latest news as we receive it.
And the State Board of Higher Education has endorsed a request from Southern Oregon University in transitioning from a state board to a private board of trustees. Sean Monahan went out to gather more details on this subject.
Southern Oregon University is in the process of transitioning to a private board of trustees. Dr. Mary Cullinan, president of Southern Oregon University, discusses this topic.
For many decades, Southern Oregon University has been part of the Oregon University system, which is made up of 7 public universities in Oregon. Then a couple of years ago, legislation came forward that would enable the larger institutions to get their own governing boards. And that left the 4 smaller institutions unclear about what would happen, whether we would each get our own boards or whether we would become part of one of the larger campuses. And the 4 small school presidents really came to the conclusion, with the support of our campuses and our communities, that each of us having our own governing board would be the best way for each of us to be governed.
The new governing board for Southern Oregon University will be effective starting on July 1st, 2015. Dr. Cullinan talks about the impacts that this will have on the university.
The main key benefit is that we will have governance by individuals who love and care for Southern Oregon University. We have had a State Board of Higher Education that has governed us competently, but many of them have never set foot on our campus. And they also haven't been here to meet our students and to understand the amazing things that we do. Whereas if we have a governing board on the ground here, they're going to know our students. They're going to be amazed by what Southern Oregon University does. I also believe that the advocacy from having our own board will help us in terms of funding down the road. But we're still state institutions. We're not going to lose state funding. We'll still be funded by the state.
This is Sean Monahan reporting for SoundByte.
Southern Oregon University's recent retrenchment plan has been met with a lot of confusion. Bells toll here at SOU as last month's final draft of the retrenchment plan was released to the public. The plan is designed to help alleviate the deficit brought on due to the school's budget by targeting classes and majors with a small student attendance. SOU President Mary Cullinan is reaching out to let students know that the school is willing to support them through the transition.
Any program that is going to go away will happen over the next few years, and students will be able to graduate with whatever majors they have already chosen.
President Cullinan went on to say that those majors that are being cut, SOU is still planning on teaching the lower division classes that may be important to other majors, citing examples of lower division physics for science majors and lower division art classes to keep students who are interested involved. If you would like more information and to view the retrenchment plan yourself, you can go to thestateoftheuniversity.sou.edu. Since last fall, the new dorms have been open to eager student residents at SOU. But it seems some students, upon moving in, were in for quite a surprise. SoundByte's Tim Williams reports.
A year after their completion, the new dormitories at Southern Oregon University, Shasta McLaughlin Hall, are reportedly off to a rocky start. With complaints of broken water heaters, dead electrical sockets, and non-functioning central air, students are beginning to voice their complaints.
Our keys don't work to the doors a lot of the time. We have to keep trying to use that to the keys into the hall and into the our rooms now.
Basic amenities, usually taken for granted, are a valued commodity here at the dorms. And even with the students adjusting to their new environment, they claim it's only getting worse.
Fire alarms keep going off at really random hours of the night. We've been out at 11-degree weather when it was snowing at about midnight.
Under the supervision as Director of Housing, local business Android Construction was the contractor for the new dorms and, in fact, does a large majority of the construction for the Southern Oregon-based campus. When Adroit and the Director of Housing reached for a statement, no comment could be obtained. Even with these complaints, hope still remains for current and potential new students as efforts to redouble maintenance are underway. Projects such as a new solar paneling for McLaughlin Hall show signs of care for the school to reach out and work with their future alumni. Here at Shasta Hall, regardless of any faults, students still go to class and return to, at the end of a long, hard day, what they've come to call home. For SoundByte, I'm Timothy Williams.
And with graduation around the corner, senior SOU students are buckling down and preparing for life after college. The Grad Fair in the Student Store happened this past week and helped students order graduation announcements, class rings, diploma frames, and caps and gowns. With plenty of excitement in the air, it's easy to forget the fear and anxiety some students are feeling about finding a job after graduation. With the average student leaving college with $24,900 in debt, the need for a job is at an all-time high. And Senior Brooke Day is just one of the many students that is concerned about graduation and her life afterward.
With graduation rapidly approaching in June, students are starting to pursue opportunities to enter the workforce and start paying off their student loans. SoundByte's Rory Owens caught up with one student and her story at the 2014 SOU Student Career Fair.
Angelica Polkowitz is a hospitality and tours major and hopes to get a job in her field. She knows it's going to be difficult to find a job after she graduates, but that's why she is shaking hands and interacting with as many potential employers as she can.
I just took a walk through the 2014 Southern Oregon University Career Fair. Got some information from Noble Roasting Company and also Travel Oregon. They directly relate to my major as a hospitality and tourism major. Hopefully I could have some internship opportunities in the summer and take that next step toward getting a career after graduation. According
to a recent report from CNN Money, 36% of college-educated workers under the age of 25 are working in jobs that do not require a degree. Additionally, 7% of recent graduates are unemployed, while another 8% are underemployed. While the economy is improving and the unemployment rate is down, college graduates need to position themselves for success before they graduate in order to get ahead of the competition. Max Brooks, the coordinator of the 2014 SOU Career Fair, spoke with us about employment opportunities offered through making connections at this year's event.
That often people don't do kind of formal interviews here that lead to an actual job offer or an interview offer, but it's a good first step. People make connections there. You get to learn a little bit about someone's personality. You get a sense of whether or not they might be a good fit, and then you encourage them to to visit the website or come in for a more in-depth conversation. And so typically the internships, the part-time jobs, the full-time jobs come out of those follow-up conversations, but this is really the first step. This is what brings people together for the first time.
Making connection and putting yourself out there prior to graduation is a necessary step towards establishing a position in the workforce. If you would like more information, contact Max Brooks at brooksm@sou.edu. This is Rory Owens for SoundByte.
We will be joined in the studio later by Career Coordinator for SOU, Max Brooks. But first, we take a look at some of the issues on the ballot next month. There are 2 spots opening up on the Jackson County Commissioners Board, and 5 candidates are vying for those positions. 4 of the candidates are Republican, and the 5th is running as an independent. There are 3 major ballot measures this year. 15119 would ban genetically modified crops in Jackson County. Jackson County is the only county in Oregon that has a chance of banning GMOs because the state of Oregon has outlawed any other counties from banning them. Measure 15121 would impose a 5-cent per thousand assessed property tax for support of the Jackson County OSU Extension Service. And finally, Measure 15122 would establish a tax district for support of the Jackson County library system. It would impose a 60-cent per thousand assessed property tax, and voters are also asked to vote on a proposed director for the district.
One of the biggest races this year is for Jackson County Sheriff position. There are 3 candidates vying for a spot, and we spoke with them about the race. And the Jackson County Sheriff race is off and running. 3-time Sheriff office holder Mike Winters is being challenged for re-election by Ashland Deputy Chief Corey Falls and Jackson County Sheriff Lieutenant Bob Sergi. Current Sheriff Mike Winters believes the key to being elected in Jackson County is having solutions to the problems. Winters talked with SoundByte about the new rise in jail beds, saying although positive for the community, won't solve the problem.
We need a cultural shift on the front end, because otherwise, we could build a 1,000-bed jail, and eventually in this county it'll be full if we don't change the culture, of people.
Running against Sheriff Winters is Corey Falls, who knows that although challenging, this election is sure to be a tight-knit competition.
Running against a 3-term incumbent, you're in an uphill battle. Bob Sergi has several years of law enforcement experience, so certainly the opposition is tough, but that's why I'm doing it also, because I feel I'm extremely competitive with my credentials and like challenges like this.
Sheriff's Lieutenant Bob Sergi was on leave and unavailable for interview. A recent investigation claiming that he used addresses from employee rosters to solicit campaign funds has put Lieutenant Sergi into question.
I don't want a gray cloud hanging over anybody's head in this investigation, so hopefully it's resolved quickly and we can move on with the process so the public has all the information to make a good decision.
I'm Chantell Munoz reporting for SoundByte. And after the break, we'll be joined with Max Brooks, the career coordinator here at SOU, with some advice on how to find a job after graduation.
And summer's right around the corner, bringing with it a slew of opportunities, outdoor opportunities, only found here in Southern Oregon.
I always wondered what would happen if I took my knowledge of zoology and used it to craft a new animal form. Like a lot of kids, I wanted to go out on an adventure after I graduated high school. I was looking for a strong art department. I always knew that that's what I wanted to do. One way I define art is as an imitation of nature. To me, they really go hand in hand. Well, the faculty is very supportive and very helpful. I was able to go from zero knowledge of computer 3D animation to doing a full-blown 3D animated film.
The level of work that Tricia has been able to achieve here at Southern Oregon has been really high, and that's really become the expectation, in a sense, for all of our students.
So ever since a little girl, I always liked to make up creatures. So Swamp Horse for a long time was one of those that I just had on paper and in my mind. And I'm really glad to leave Swampy here. I know that she's in a good home. Good girl, Swampy. You stay here.
And welcome back. I'm Chantell Munoz.
And I'm Elliot Anderson. And it's one of the top things on graduating students' minds, how to get a job.
Our own Robin Fichter is with the career coordinator with some insight on the issue.
Hi, this is Robin Fichter, and today we are talking with Max Brooks, who is the coordinator of career preparation here at SOU. Hi, Max. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much.
So can you give us a brief rundown of what it is you do here at SOU and what students can get from your vast knowledge?
Yep, absolutely. So I do a wide variety of things as part of the Office of Career Connections. And that really, it runs the gamut from working with first-year students who arrive on campus and they're perhaps considering what to major in, how to get involved on campus, what their early on decisions mean for their long-term kind of career goals. So we do a lot of career exploration with them, figuring out what it is that they might want to do and how to get there, ranging all the way through the kind of academic experience up to folks who are about to graduate and they're considering next steps, whether that's graduate school, applying for a full-time position, making other arrangements. So we work with folks to prepare application materials, resumes, cover letters, to learn about networking.
And speaking of some of your resources, you have a pretty resourceful web tab through the SOU page. I was really impressed to go on there and see, you can find out everything from what your personality matches in terms of potential careers, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk a little more about some of those?
Absolutely, and it's one of the first things that I wanted to do when I started the job about 1.5 years ago was update the web resources, update the website, and there's still a long way to go, but I think we've made some good strides because web resources are helpful to the students. They can be accessed anytime, day or night, whether or not I'm available, they're there for a student on his or her schedule. And so the sou.edu/careers page is really the starting point for anyone who's interested in plugging into some of those virtual resources. So I already mentioned CareerLink, which is really the hub. It's where I send anyone who is looking for a job on campus, off campus, full-time, part-time, paid, unpaid. Everyone posts their positions there. We have a system called Focus 2 that provides some of those assessments that you talked about. It's a good career planning tool. We've got a tool called Optimal Resume that allows students to build a resume within that particular tool and customize it in a lot of different ways so that you can be sure you're coming out with a very professional looking resume.
Wonderful. And students can find you where and how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So I'm on the first floor of the Hannon Library in office 113A. If they walk in through the rotunda and past the circulation desk, they can just make a left down the hallway, and I'm the only office down there, so it shouldn't be too hard to track me down. Absolutely. And I encourage them to send me an email in advance as an office of one. If I am giving an interview, for example, or in a classroom or meeting with another student, I don't want them to waste the trip. So if they email me at brooksm@sou.edu, then we can set up an appointment time in advance.
Max Brooks, the Office of Career Preparation here at the SOU campus. If you have anything you need to know about developing your career, he's the guy to talk to. Thank you again so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
The Oregon Shakespeare Festival is at it again with another great season. All you theater enthusiasts out there should take advantage of the 2014 season. It's spring at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and plays are being attended left and right. 6 plays are being shown at this time, including A Wrinkle in Time, Water by the Spoonful, Comedy of Errors, The Tempest, The Coconuts, and The Sign in Sidney Brewsting's Window. Tickets are being sold now with prices varying between non-members and members. Student rush tickets are available during designated times. Student IDs are required at the time of purchase. Backstage tours are also available at 10 a.m. on scheduled show days. For additional information, you can call the box office at 800-219-8161 or go to online at ashland@osf.org.
It's almost summer here in the Rogue Valley, and that means it's almost time for the Britt Hill to once again light up as musical artists from across the nation descend on the little town of Jacksonville. This year's season begins on June 16th when The Fray takes the stage. Other big names on this year's docket include annual favorite Michael Franti and Spearhead, singer Gavin DeGraw, and Montgomery Gentry. Classic rock acts include Peter Frampton and Joan Jett, as well as the Beach Boys. This year's performances also include American Idol Live, showcasing some of the finalists from last season of the hit television show. Tickets for the 2014 season go on sale to the general public starting Friday, May 16th.
If your hunger pains are starting to get noisy, you may want to venture over to Southern Oregon University's newest dining facility, The Hawk. SoundByte's Mark Wells interviewed some of the key people to find out what they had to say.
Southern Oregon University's restaurant, The Hawk, has been in its first year of operation. The response from staff and students has been quite positive.
The Hawk is an all-you-can-eat dining facility. It's open to the public. It is for our students. They are on a meal plan. They come, they swipe upon entry. Once they come in and they swipe, they're open to eat anything that we have to offer as much as they can. It's a buffet style, and as it is the same for community members. They come, they pay upon entry, and they could eat at one of or all of our 7 stations. We change, adapt to their needs and what kind of stuff. They make comments, and we do what we can to, satisfy their needs.
Here in the Hawk, you have all these 8 different restaurants, and so I'm also specifying and ordering all the different food groups that we use in this entire building. The response has been pretty good. It's been pretty phenomenal. The students have expressed using more local, more healthy ingredients, and we responded in kind by getting those things from different sources.
I like coming to the Hawk. The people that are working are really nice, they're friendly, they do a lot for us. I mean, I complained about not having smoothies for quite a long time. I wrote a few comment cards, and now we have smoothies every day, so they definitely work hard for their students and for the kids here.
I really like breakfast here. They have a lot of different options. The smoothies are great. The salad bar is really great as well.
I think there's a lot of variety. Salads are a personal favorite of ours. Definitely POW with all the different stir fry you can get. There's just great variety and everything, and the smoothies are definitely a bonus.
For more information about the Hawk, go to campus-dining.com. This has been Mark Wells reporting for SoundByte.
We'll be right back with sports.
And a look at a local film making waves across the world.
Welcome back. I'm Chantell Munoz. We now head to Kristen Shanehair with a look at sports.
Springtime has bloomed a lot of excitement for Southern Oregon University athletics. The football team was recently ranked number 20 NAIA Spring Coaches Top 25 poll. With a solid coaching staff, offense, and improving defense, the Raiders are expected to dominate this next football season. Setting their sights on going to the championship last year, the Raiders were disappointed when they fell short. The Raiders finished second in conference, tying with Rocky Mountain College, and went 7-4 overall. The Raiders' annual spring game is scheduled for May 2nd at 6 p.m. And in softball this past weekend, the Raiders pulled through despite losing twice to Concordia University. SOU was able to secure the number 4 seed in the Cascade Conference Tournament by the unexpected elimination of Northwest Christian University. It has been 8 years since the Raiders have appeared in the conference tournament. The Raiders will open the tourney against league champs this Thursday at 11:30 a.m. During regular season, OIT won all 4 games against SOU. Looks like the girls will have their work cut out for them. Track and field is tuning up for the Cascade Conference Tournament. Chloe Welch has more.
And they're off. Here at Southern Oregon University, track and field athletes get ready for the Cascade Conference Championships as well as the NAIA Championships. Practices have been long and exhausting as the end of track season approaches. This past weekend, the SOU track team competed in Gresham, Oregon. Only 2 meets are left in the regular season until the Cascade Conference Championships arrive on May 9th. Several of the SOU athletes have already qualified for the championships, including sprints runner Kermit Knight, who gave us an insight on his team and what they're striving to attain.
We're making great strides, trying to get that relay time, the national time, and every day is just a new step in the best direction.
Knight placed third in the men's 100-meter dash with a time of 11.37 seconds. The team will compete in Corvallis and Forest Grove, Oregon, this next weekend. Also competing this past weekend was Marcus Sanders, a native from Northern California. Sanders competes in various field events, including the hammer. Sanders threw the hammer for the very first time last year and was ranked first in the nation for that event.
I love it. We got a really good program. We got an amazing coaching staff, and we got a lot of good athletes out here.
Sanders continues to showcase his athleticism by participating for SOU's football team. Not everyone can be a dual sport athlete.
It's definitely hard work. I love it though. It keeps me in shape for both sports. I have a lot of fun doing it. So it's definitely a blessing.
Sanders delivered another Raider win, taking first in the hammer this past weekend.
Marcus is currently a junior and plans to be a dual-sport athlete for the remainder of his college career. I'm Kristen Shanehair reporting for SoundByte Sports.
Southern Oregon has been host to several big budget films over the years and countless small independent movies. But one of the latest to begin filming in the Rogue Valley is having an impact across the world, and SoundByte has the story.
Action!
A powerful message from a small budget film is gaining a following across the globe. Courage of Two is based on the true story of producer and scriptwriter Mark Wells's youngest son, Denver.
The message, when I was looking around at other news stories of happening in elementary schools around the country, I thought, well, let's see if we can show something good that happened out of our area.
Knowing how powerful the story was, Mark took his fledgling production company online, asking the denizens of the internet to help him fund the movie. Within days, they had surpassed their goal, eventually raising $25,000 from the Kickstarter campaign.
The underlying meaning of the whole script is, what would you give up for a best friend?
The story follows Mark's youngest son as he is taken to the hospital diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at 6 years old. While there, young Denver meets another boy his own age who has cancer. Just weeks after they first meet and form a strong friendship, Denver's friend dies. But Denver, undeterred, vows not to let this happen to any other children and begins walking door to door collecting cans and saving up the return money. While he never reaches his goal of $1 million, he does raise over $10,000, which he sends to a children's hospital. The story was so powerful, it attracted the attention of a producer halfway across the globe.
After I thought that this movie need to watch a lot of people everywhere in the world, and how can I help for it, like a producer.
Catalin Veit is a producer from Hungary who has teamed up with Mark and is hosting the post-production stage of the movie in her home country. She has big hopes for the film.
Yes, and after we like to bring that to the different film festivals in Europe and in America too. Yeah.
Whether the movie ever ends up at Cannes or not, it is inspirational, and you can't help but feel its tug at your heartstrings. For SoundByte, I'm Elliot Anderson.
And that's all we have for our broadcast. Thank you for joining us here at SoundByte. I'm Chantell Munoz.
And I'm Elliot Anderson. Good night.